Hey Technology Advice viewers, thanks for joining me. Today we're going to be looking at top tech trends for 2015. It's a new year, so of course we have to make some predictions about what's going to come up. So let's start with mobile. Mobile's been popular for the past couple of years, but in 2015 and in the coming years it's really going to reach a fever pitch. It's actually been predicted that by 2020, 80% of the world's adult population will own smartphones. So this means that when businesses design their websites, instead of just considering mobile as a secondary option, they really need to be putting mobile closer to the top of their priority list. So how can people access the site on mobile? How does it look on mobile? And from a business model perspective, how do people use the business services on mobile? These are incredibly important considerations. And from an employee side, as more and more consumers get mobile devices, more consumers are going to bring these devices to work and perform business tasks on them. This is a new consideration for IT. So how do we allow our employees to use these mobile devices while keeping our data secure? Very important considerations for 2015. Next, let's look at the Internet of Things. So the Internet of Things has been popular again for maybe a year or two, but in 2015, it's predicted that there'll be 4.9 million smart devices, which is a 30% increase from 2014. So phenomenal growth in the Internet of Things. And if you're unfamiliar, the Internet of Things simply refers to smart devices from household appliances up into more complex machines like cars that record and transmit data, usually to a website that consumers can access from an app. So a good example of this that we use in the Technology Advice office is a Nest thermostat. So the Nest thermostat looks at historical data, what you set the temperature at, how often you change the temperature, and it records and pushes that data to an app that you can control the Nest from. So the Nest also bases its behavior on that data. So based on how you use it, the Nest will change and anticipate your needs. This leads us into our third and final prediction for 2015, that data analytics will become more popular. So since the Internet of Things is becoming more and more common, and along with social media data is being produced, businesses are going to need a method for analyzing all this data. So this is where data analytics comes in. So on a very basic level, the Nest is doing data analytics. So it looks at historical data, like I mentioned, and it uses that data to predict how it should act in the future. Now, data analytics, and more specifically predictive analytics, can't predict the future at 100% accuracy, but they can predict the future more accurately than at any other time in human history, which is pretty compelling. So not only is this technology popular, it's also incredibly versatile. So you can use data to predict which employees are most likely to leave based on their online activity and other behavior. Or you can also predict which customer loyalty offerings are going to be most effective. So how should you segment your audience? Which offerings should you push to make your customers most loyal? So it's because of data analytics' versatility and its power that worldwide business spend is predicted to reach $125 billion in 2015. So those are some predictions for 2015. If you'd like to read all of our predictions, you can check out the article we wrote on our blog at technologyadvice.com. I've included some links to some of the stats that I cited in this video in the comments below, so let me know if we missed anything. Is there a big one coming up that we didn't mention in the article, that we didn't mention in the video? Love to hear your feedback. So that's it for today. Thanks for joining me. Until next time.
We're in Shoreham, Vermont, the home of Whistle Pig Whiskey. The goal of this newcomer to the whiskey industry is to be the first farm-to-bottle rye whiskey brand made all in the United States since Prohibition.
We started in the middle of the most severe recession in the country's recent history. So you could get a lot of stuff done for less. There wasn't that much work going on. So from A to Z, you could get quick turns on everything at reasonably low prices. If you look at companies that start in the depths of a recession where resources are tight and you have to make decisions which would result in near-term revenue, you have much stronger companies because they were born in the baptism of fire. Frequently, companies that start in severe recessions tend to be around long for a lot longer that start at the frothy tops of booms. There are times as an entrepreneur when you stake your own ground and say, I'm going to create a business myself, I'm going to work for myself, where you stare at some dark, dark chasms, some cold, lonely nights when you alone believe in the vision that you're pursuing, and your net payables to net receivables on a 30-day basis make you entirely insolvent. And yet there's something that says, go on, this will work. And I think that's what separates entrepreneurs from others. It's the ability to take risk. As you learn from your failures, you're able to better calculate what risks to take and when to really hold on. In its core, being an entrepreneur is based on a firm conviction that I can do it. I can make something happen. I can make something work. You know that it's make or break, do or die. Actually, the